Good Wednesday evening, everybody. It is David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office with a very important live stream on Major Hurricane Erick that really has explosively intensified over the last 12 to 24 hours in the Eastern Pacific and is now making its way very close of Puerto Escondido, and this is still showing signs of some rapid intensification, still with an eye there, but that eye has also gone a little smaller, which may signify that we are starting to see the beginnings of possibly of a distortion of the inner eye wall and possibly an outer eye wall beginning to form. And this could even be simply due to the fact that we do have some sinking motion happening on the front side of the system. So let's actually go and look at this a bit more clearly on Radar Omega. Full screen. There we go. Yeah, so this is what we have right now. There's Puerto Escondido. There is Rio Grande. There is Tatupec, something like that. Yeah, some of these names are all in Spanish, so sorry if I don't get them all correctly, but I do my best at making sure I get them all correct. And so what we have here is, if we bring our pin out, we have actually offshore flow coming in on the back, the front side of this, coming in out of the northeasterly direction. And what that actually does is, because these are really tall mountains, you're actually bringing air down from higher up down to the surface. So the air is actually rather a little drier than where it could be if this was a flat air mass, or a flat land mass, I should say. Man, getting my words all mixed up. It's pretty hot today, so not feeling it today, unfortunately. But good thing is tomorrow's going to be a lot cooler. But the air is going to come down these mountains, and it's going to dry adiabatically. So that actually gets drier air into the system if it weren't for those tall mountains. So that's why we're also seeing a little bit of a disruption here of the eye wall, it does appear. And the eye is also getting a little bit more ragged than what we had earlier. We could even see this on the meso floater as well, how the eye looked a lot more larger. See that? How it is all shaping up, and now it's a lot more thinner, a little more smaller as well, and that's why this could be weakening just a little bit. Let's actually take a look at recon. Let's see what the recon mission is finding so far. And what we have here is, let's see if they flew back in. Maybe that's all we're going to get. Let's see. Let's wait for... It looks like that's the latest information that we have here, unfortunately. Let me bring my epic pin at. Oh, it's way over here. So what we have is definitely a wind maximum here and a wind maximum here. But the thing about this is, if we look closely, we have a secondary wind maximum. So we have the primary wind maximum here on the north and south sides of the eye wall, and then a secondary wind max that is actually occurring just to the northwest of that, and also a secondary wind max happening here. So this could be the early stages of an eye wall replacement cycle that might be in the early stages of occurring. And if that is the case, the system might have peaked intensity with 120-mile-an-hour winds. Wouldn't be surprising if they upped this a little bit because of what they found here. That's a 100-knot wind barb that they found, and even near 100 knots down here. So if anything, this would probably be a 125-mile-an-hour hurricane. Let me make sure if this updated yet. And it did, and I called it 125 miles an hour as of the latest advisory. So that's what we have right now. So this is not a category 4 yet. It is still a category 3, but it is really high end category 3 with 125-mile-an-hour winds. And this is what is coming out of From the National Hurricane Center, as you can see here, as of the 9 o'clock advisory, Central Standard Time, 125-mile-an-hour winds, and it is moving to the northwest at 9 miles per hour. So that's as of the latest advisory at this time. Key messages. These are the key messages that you all need to read carefully. And also you can visit this by going to hurricanes.gov for more information on this. So the hurricane continues to intensify and is now a major hurricane. It is expected to be a major hurricane when it reaches the coast of Mexico in the western portion of the state of Oaxaca, something like that, or the eastern portion of the state of Guerrero within the hurricane warning area by early Thursday. Devastating wind damage is possible where the core of the storm moves onshore. Weather conditions are already deteriorating and preparations to protect your life and property should be rushed to completion. Erick will produce very, very heavy rainfall across portions of the Central America and southwestern Mexico through this week. Life-threatening flooding and mudslides are likely, especially in areas of steep terrain. We could even see catastrophic impacts out of this too because of the tall mountains, and we will be looking at a graphic here in a second on that. A dangerous, life-threatening storm surge is expected to produce coastal flooding near and to the east of where the center crosses the coast. In areas of onshore winds, the surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. So you can see, you can find this on their, if you go to the nhc.gov website, go to the Eastern Pacific, click on the storm, you'll be able to view the different products that they have here. So let's take a look now at the rainfall forecast because, man, this is really bad. This is not what you want to hear at all from a forecast standpoint. And what we have right now is rainfall totals in this area where there's red. That is 12 to 16 inches of rainfall. Even along the coast here of Mexico, of Oaxaca, you might see up to 20 inches of rainfall. That is absolutely devastating. With very tall mountains here, there's just going to be a lot of problems. There's already problems, but there's going to be more problems than not tonight as the brunt of this moves through. Even over here near Calma, could get up to 4 to 5 inches of rainfall with this. So it's not just over here, but it's also over here where there's also going to be a lot of rainfall accumulating. So this is what the wind is like right now. This is as of the 9 o'clock advisory. Tropical storm force winds are already onshore, so there is a lot of wind damage taking place, trees coming down, that sort of thing. And then there's this little maroon color. That's hurricane force winds, and that's not far off the coast there of Mexico. And as this gets very close to Puerto Escondido, I would not be surprised if there are hurricane force wind gusts associated with this. So this is as of the 9 o'clock advisory. Erick's rapid intensification continued through 23Z as the Air Force Hurricane Hunter aircraft near the time reported that the central pressure had fallen to 953 millibars. However, since that time, the satellite appearance of the hurricane went through a period when it was a little degraded. Okay, that's probably a signal that the rapid intensification phase might have come to an end, suggesting that the intensification rate may have slowed or may have stopped. This may be due to an attempted eyewall replacement cycle. Again, if we go back to the aircraft recon data, and again, I want to zoom in and really point this out. We have to understand on how we analyze hurricanes when it comes to their max wind, because if you get a primary wind max, especially in the inner eye or the main primary eye wall, you tend to get the strongest winds, right? But once you get a secondary eye wall that forms, what we call the outer eye, usually it forms more out here surrounding the inner eye wall, you tend to get a secondary wind max. So you can see here, if we follow the wind barbs, so the different colors tell us that. So we have storm force winds here. We have hurricane force winds in the purple. That's grape purple. And then the brighter purple colors indicate even stronger winds. So if you follow this, the winds go up here into a certain point, and then they kind of come down right here. See how much weaker they are here? winds right around maybe about 85 to maybe 90 miles an hour. And then here's your secondary wind max. So that's what they're talking about at an attempted eye wall replacement cycle, maybe in progress right now. And then even on the southern side where we have, again, a secondary wind max, the primary wind max is here right around where the old eye wall is. And then a newer eye wall is forming where we have a secondary wind max. That's winds here of near category 4 intensity. So with that being said, based on the satellite presentation of what I'm seeing with the ragged eye, this does appear to be going undergoing an eye wall replacement cycle at this time. And at this point, with my expertise here, hopefully, I should say, hopefully in a strong sense that this is not strengthening anymore and it might have leveled off with intensity and might even weaken a little bit during this eye wall replacement cycle. Now, whether or not that eye wall replacement cycle finishes fast enough before it gets closer to the coast, because we all think as long as it's over the warm waters here, it's going to continue intensifying. But I wanted to show you all something on Google Earth that is important here. So let's go to Google Earth, because this is important, because you got to look at hurricane dynamics. And when it comes to hurricane dynamics, air gets pulled in from all quadrants, right? And so we have land, the tall mountains here of Mexico. So let's zoom in down here where this hurricane actually is. So there is Puerto Escondido. And so we're thinking right in here is where the wind is coming offshore, roughly, not completely. And look at these mountains here. These are tall mountains. These are 3,000 feet. Some of these mountains here are 7,000 to 8,000 feet high. I've been down here during a cruise when I was a lot younger, and I remember seeing the mountains here. These are really tall. And so anytime you get wind, especially with a hurricane like this, even so it's over water up until landfall, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to intensify rapidly up until landfall, because as you know, if a hurricane gets closer, or when it gets closer to these mountains, the air is going to be pulled offshore. It's going to be pulled through and over these mountains, and then it's going to sink, and it's going to dry adiabatically. So what we end up seeing is actually drier air. The air actually dries out instead of remaining very moist, because as you do know, hurricanes like a lot of moisture. They don't like drier air, and any drier air that gets infiltrated because of the adiabatic warming and drying of these winds as they come up and over these mountains is going to lead to some disruption of form. And that's what we expect here. So while the hurricane might recover briefly, it's not going to take long once it gets close enough to the coast here, where we are going to see some deformation happen to the inner core as we get that drier air, as we get a little bit of frictional slowing of those winds as well. And hurricanes don't do well. That's why if you have a hurricane that moves over Hispaniola or the Dominican Republic, those tall mountains, it's not going to survive very well because of the same process. Tall mountains with a hurricane don't go well. They don't mix, okay? And it disrupts the vortex. So that's what we're thinking that's going to happen. Yes, it is going to maybe intensify a little bit more, but I think we have reached our peak at 125 miles an hour with this hurricane. So that's why it might weaken a little bit up in before it makes landfall, and then rapidly weaken after that. So that's what they're saying here, that an attempted eye wall replacement cycle is in progress. As the aircraft data suggested, concentric, here's an important one too, okay? When we go back and look at our discussion here, I looked at this first. You know, I analyzed that recon data, and you guys got to give me a huge round of applause on that. You guys be like, whoa, David was actually right. There's actually I literally, okay, I got home from work at like, say, 6:30. I came home, had dinner right away. I did not even have a chance to look at the National Hurricane Center until now. That's why some of the data might have been outdated right when I started live streaming, then I had to update it all. That's because I didn't even look at this. And literally, I called it an attempted eyewall replacement cycle. We got concentric bands of strong winds right here during its pass through the center. So that is very important because that means the wind energy is being stretched. It is not being concentrated into a singular point. Okay, hurricanes dominate their energy when it's when the hurricane's small, when it's compact. That's why Milton was a very violent hurricane. It was a Cat 5 with 180 mile an hour winds, or even 185 perhaps. And that's because, you know, all that energy was within that the primary eye wall. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. Conditions continue to be favorable for strengthening, and it is possible that Erick could get stronger before landfall if the possible eye wall replacement cycle completes soon enough. So it has to complete within the next 3 to 6 hours. If it doesn't complete within that time, then it looks like Erick may be at its peak right now with 125 or so miles an hour. And you could just see, if you look at the satellite imagery too, you could even see here, let's go back, with this deep convection, and then it kind of just flutters out. And you could even see right in here too, concentric. You can see concentric areas of deep convection right here, which does suggest that we are seeing a secondary eye wall that is forming on this. And that eye is very, very small on infrared satellite imagery. Not as well defined as it was earlier today when the hurricane was really intensifying at a quick rate. So let's take a look here at our models, because on this program, I believe, there we go. We can bring up models. We can bring up our tropical models. Unfortunately, we only get the H model. We don't have the halves group. So this is what we have here. Ooh, let me take that off. Hold on a second. Just bear with me here. Bear with me. Let me remove. There we go. So let me get rid of that, and let's go to surface wind. There we go. Is that right? I think that's correct. Okay, yeah. The surface wind here done pretty well. And this is going to, again, be the thing as it gets closer to Puerto Escondido. And you could see it's weakening on approach. So you can see Puerto Escondido here getting winds about 30 miles an hour. Okay, 30 mile an hour winds there. And then it still tries to hold together, though, but it still weakens here. Still a low-grade hurricane on approach here of Ponta Maldonado. Man, I can't even. I hate Spanish. It's the thing. That's the thing in the Eastern Pacific. All these names. Acapulco I got, though. Puerto Escondido, Rio Grande, Taltepec. Got that one, I believe. So that's what the model is showing here, that the system is going to remain pretty intense up until landfall. But general thinking here on this particular model is that the system is going to lose strength. It is going to lose a lot of its strength. And it looks like our Radar Omega program just crashed on us. There we go. That's what I was wanting. So let's go to our models and let's take a look at the H-Wharf now, because this is more high resolution. It looks similar to this. And let's take a look at our wind. And you can even see here, done pretty well on the wind here at about 110 miles an hour. As we put this into motion, we can see that the wind is also on the decrease on this model, but is a little stronger near the Rio Grande area of Mexico. Not Rio Grande near Texas, not that Rio Grande, but the one along the coast here. And that's 80-mile-an-hour winds right there. So that is still a hurricane on approach here to Rio Grande, Mexico. And this would be for, let's see when this would be for. Yeah, this would be for about 8 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time. Actually, 7 in the morning, Central Standard Time, because they don't go an hour forward like we do. So therefore, it would be 7 in the morning there when they get that landfall. And that is quite a bit of rainfall. We take a look here. And the thing is, people like to focus on the wind. Wind is not the deal, a big deal here. It's going to be the rainfall. Because you can see Puerto Escondido, Rio Grande, look at all of that rain that's going to be coming through. Look at the backside of that eye wall. Really, really intense rainfall. And even over here in Salina Cruz, where you get your typical Tehuantepec winds in the wintertime, they blow out of here really strong. Instead, you're going to get a southerly flow, an onshore flow, and that in this area, because of the strong onshore flow, over Laguna Inferior, Laguna Superior, some storm surge is going to be the concern with that. Okay, even some water spouts perhaps on the far eastern side of Erick's storm. And the rain is going to continue there for a while. It's not just going to end like that. This is going to last for a while. So I really, really hope and pray, folks, that you have your hurricane plan in place. Because, yes, the Eastern Pacific has been... This is an unfortunate area. Otis impacted in this approximate area last year. And now we are looking at another hurricane. I mean, this is just not, this is very unfortunate. And all that rain is going to be making its way up across Acapulco, as well as Mazatlan, Mexico eventually. And some of that moisture is actually going to be carried in across portions of Texas and New Mexico, part of the monsoon. And it looks like that might be a second system. Yeah, a second system that the model's picking up. Wow, that is pretty interesting to say the least. So, yeah, so this is a powerful hurricane that I am really concerned about. Now, some of you are probably wondering, am I going to live stream all night on this? Unfortunately, I do not have the resources for that. Unlike Atlantic type systems, United States, as well as the Caribbean, they have a lot of webcams around the area. They have a lot of radar sites. Unfortunately, I don't have access to radar sites here in the southern Mexico area. So we really only are able to rely off of satellite imagery. And that's why we're only going to do this for probably about another hour or so. It's just kind of a live discussion, answering your guys' questions. And if you guys want me to talk about the Atlantic, I could be more than happy to do that too during this live stream. And you know what's interesting about this too? Look at my schedule on YouTube. I mean, I made the schedule. I literally made this on the 12th. Okay, so I made this on Thursday last week. And I literally said, I'm going to do 2 live streams a week. And today it ends up being the fact that we are dealing with Major Hurricane Erick. And so this live stream is not a hangout stream. Instead, it is a track Erick live stream for the 8 o'clock hour tonight. And then, of course, I have another live stream scheduled for Saturday. That's if I'm up to doing it, because I will be tired. I work very early in the morning. I'm a busy boy. But what's up, everybody? How are you all doing? How's your day? I hope you guys are doing great on this fantastic Wednesday. Not so, it's fantastic for me, but my gosh, is it hot in my room. It's 97 degrees up here right now, and I am braving the heat. I am braving the heat to talk to you all and hang out with you all tonight. Will Acapulco experience a lot of wind? There will be some kind of wind, but nothing like the right front quadrant will be like. In fact, you probably won't even see any wind at all. Let me see. Well, yeah, you'll see a little bit of wind. Probably about 15 to 30 mile an hour winds you'll see with this, but nothing too extreme, nothing as far as it looks right now. Now, Puerto Escondido, though, that's a little bit of a different story. Puerto Escondido along the coast there is more likely to see tropical storm force winds. Do you not have an AC? I do have an air conditioner, but you know what happened, folks? Our air conditioner, our compressor unit that actually helps make air conditioning possible broke down on us. So HVAC people, Giddens, which is our HVAC people, have ordered the part, and hopefully it comes within the next week or two. Luckily, the warranty is covered, so we are back to the old school where we have to blow in cooler air from outside. Not so cool here. It's actually muggy tonight. What's up, Easy Peasy, Lemon Squeezy? How are you doing, Easy Peasy? It's what your nickname could be. You could just be a lemon, because your name rhymes with Lemon Squeezy, so I can just call you a lemon. So, yeah, so that's why it's hot. And, you know, heat rises, right? So, actually downstairs right now, it's 74 degrees. But up here, it's 97 degrees. Because, I mean, what ends up happening is the sun comes way... Like, our sun angle this time of the year is like 76 degrees above the horizon at solar noon. So, that heat, or that sun's energy is just beating down on our roof. And the roof... to be quite honest, you all, is only this thick. It's about, I would say, man, how could I better do an analogy? It's probably about as thick as this wallet, the wallet going across. So when you have, and it's black, it's like almost pure black. Why did my grandma choose that color for a roof? Don't ask me. But that heat is just being stored, and it soaks through the roof. It literally soaks through. So when we have short nights, and tonight it's only going to be 65 degrees here, that heat just gets trapped, and it's not allowed to leave very much unless I open my windows, which doesn't really help a whole lot. Now, tomorrow night and the next night, we're supposed to have very strong onshore winds and overnight lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s, which will help out a lot. And our daytime highs are only going to be in the upper 70s to lower 80s. So we are going to see a much, much bigger cool down coming, which will really help out a lot up here. Just got off the plane. Nice. Now, for those people that are watching this live stream, there's 190 of you all in this live stream. This is like the second year that I've tracked hurricanes in the Eastern Pacific, but if you have not subscribed to the channel, okay, if you have not hit that subscribe button today, please do so, because we are planning to do live streams like this, but only more extensively, more excessively on the channel. This is like, I mean, this is because I don't have the resources, but like, we have a lot of cameras, a lot. We have like thousands of cameras that I've found here along the coast of the Gulf, from Texas all the way to Louisiana, Florida, up the eastern seaboard. So if any hurricane, and I am not doing this for ego, I am going to make my promise. If you guys don't believe me, ask Easy Peasy in the chat. Me and him were working one night for like 4 hours at making different scenes, planning out how are we going to do this? What is our plan for the hurricane season when it comes to going live? And so when there's any impact on these islands, we will do a stream like we are here. Probably not an overnight stream, but when it comes to the Gulf, and the eastern seaboard, you bet 24-hour or not, yeah, 24-hour streaming coverage on a hurricane like this. And I could even show you all while we're tracking this very quickly. I have an image. I have a picture. You all, if you don't believe me, take a look at that really quickly. While we're looking at a hurricane, take a look at that image and you'll be like, let's see. Let me make it brighter so you all can see it better. That's the setup. That is the setup right there. I'm not kidding. So one monitor has all live cameras. Even the other monitor on top of it has a few live cameras. Got 2 radar programs. We have National Hurricane Center windows. I mean, yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean, this is like, what I'm doing tonight is like baby steps. This is going to be pretty extreme and exceptional. You thought when I went live on Milton, oh my gosh, I remember that sucker. That son of a gun was like, it was like the end of the world in the Gulf with that hurricane. Yeah, see, look at easy. We got some stuff coming. Will Corpus Christi get some rain out of this? Let's take a look at our GFS model. Actually, let's go to WSV3. I am not, see, my layout tonight is a little bit skittish. So let me do this. Let me see if I can get this. Actually, you know what? No, we're not going to use that. We're just going to have to use this. So the GFS model, let's look at rainfall forecast. So yeah, this has to load. Please bear with it. So for Corpus Christi, you're not going to get a whole lot of rain out of this. A lot of the moisture with this system is actually going to be over here in Thermopolis, whatever that is. Oh my gosh, these names. Yeah, northeastern Mexico right here is going to see generally most of the rain over the next couple of days or 3 days. Unfortunately, though, not much is expected for Texas, okay? A lot of the monsoonal subtropical moisture is going to be aimed squarely for most of Mexico into New Mexico, as well as I said New Mexico too many times, but you get the idea. All this monsoonal moisture is going to get pulled northward. Because what you have here, we actually take a look at our pattern, because this is going to be the governor. This is why the system's not going into the Gulf in the first place, is you have this subtropical ridge here. So there is our system. So let me go to tropical tidbits and let me zoom this out so y'all can see that. So there is Erick, the vorticity plot here, and then look what happens. Look what happens to our pattern. This ridge over here wants to build in across the southeast. There's been a lot of talk about how hot it's actually going to be in the Midwest for the weekend into early next week. It is going to be cooking, all right, and that's because of this big fat ridge of high pressure at 500 millibars, and even portions of that ridge get down even to here. So this pattern is not ideal for this system to just kind of get mysteriously turned into the Gulf like this, and this is gonna just get destroyed once it hits those mountains. So there is no concern at all for the entire Gulf other than the northeastern Mexico country to get a lot of rainfall. Due to some reminiscent of that moisture that is coming around this system and doing something like that. But otherwise, the United States does not need to worry about this. The only thing you need to worry about is how warm it's actually going to get. That's what you need to really be focused on, because it is going to be pretty dang hot. It is going to be ridiculous. And yeah, some of these thunderstorms too, you know, I'm not a huge monsoonal fan. I should be, because it impacts me sometimes during the summer months. But some of these thunderstorms here in Mexico, as well as down here New Mexico into Colorado, and then in the country of Mexico here, some of these could produce very, very heavy rainfall. When you get a lot of moisture in the deep layer and you get water-loaded thunderstorms, you can get more rain than what is being necessitated by the Doppler radar. So in other words, Doppler radar might not show a whole lot of rain when in reality there's a lot more rain falling out of the sky than what Doppler radar is actually showing. All right. And it does look like the Eastern Pacific should, well, I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to speak too soon on that. It looks like the Eastern Pacific, though, might have another quiet, well, it hasn't really been quiet for a while, another break coming. But this down here, it's just going to be raining, 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 raining. Just too much rain. But the good news is, out of all of this, it's down there and not up here where we all live. Well, don't want to be rude to you all down there in Mexico. But that's a small area compared to with what we're looking at in the United States. But now some of you are wondering about the hurricane season. So more on that, you have to go check out my video. If you have not checked out my latest YouTube upload today, please be sure to check that out because I do go through on when are we going to see an active period. So it's this video right here. Okay, and some of you are probably wondering, like, why do you make your thumbnails like that? Why do you have a highlighted area? Why do you have a like this and that? Well, I have to add something to my thumbnails, right? I don't want them all bland and boring. We have to have some color and some like colory flashes, and this is all made by ChatGPT. You could blame ChatGPT for all of that. I mean, you can literally tell ChatGPT, where are you telling David to clickbait? I literally tell it on what do you want me to do to this thumbnail to make it a little bit more better. And it tells me, well, you need to make your colors this way. You need to do your colors that way. Don't do your colors this way. I'm like, okay, I guess, whatever. After all, it is AI. It is artificial intelligence. So yeah, if you guys like the coverage, you guys like interacting with me, simply here to interact and have some fun, please like the stream. It really helps out a lot. The NHC should have gone with 130 for the 11 o'clock advisory. Honestly, Noah Boyer, it's a good thing that they didn't because we are seeing this falling apart. Look at the curved bands. So this is undergoing an eyewall replacement cycle right now. In fact, if we look at 3D, who likes 3D? Actually, can I look at 3D? Can I actually look at 3D on this? No, I can't, huh? Darn it. Darn it. We do have the Eastern Pacific, don't we? I hope we do, huh? Yes, we do. Barely, though. Barely. I swore, though, I could use 3D. I don't know why I... Oh, yeah, here it is. No. This whole time it was kind of hiding from me. So let's use... Wait. There we go. There's our 3D. This is what the hurricane looks like. Look at that. This is what it looks like from above with that 3D textbook. Guys liked this. You guys liked this last year, so I am really going to incorporate that in these live streams. And look at all that deep convection right there, just blowing right up. And look at, there's a new massive deeper convection here to the north, or basically to the west. And look how deep that actually is. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad you like this, folks. It's like mountains. Like, it's pretty cool. It really is some cool technology. And boy, I'm telling you, I'm going to use this for all of my hurricane live streams as we are tracking a hurricane like this. What you're seeing now on this channel is basically a testimony of what's to come when we actually have something making landfall somewhere in the United States where we actually have access to live Doppler radar, live cameras. You saw it. You saw it on my phone. We got like 25 cameras lined up out there. Probably even more. I'm not excited for a hurricane to make landfall. I'm just excited to show off the new technology that this channel actually has. Greetings from the Netherlands, by the way. Going to get pretty hot here too next weekend. Man, in the Netherlands. Wow. So Netherlands are way over here on the very far end of the image. So let's actually look at that. You said hot, right? Yeah, there is a little bit of a ridge for the weekend that's going to build on in. And then it looks like it's just going to be kind of cold. The latest GFS not spitting anything out right now in the Gulf or in the Caribbean. So that's good. But please rest assured, this is going to be a very busy hurricane season. We could have a very backloaded season, folks. Like, there are seasons where there's no development at all in the Atlantic in the month of June or even July. And yet August comes around and slaps us in the face and be like, whoa, okay, we got hurricane season. We all forgot about it. Then what do you know? We got a hurricane. Sometimes other basins are more active. Look at last year. Look at the East Pacific. It was dead at this time last year. We didn't get much at all in the Eastern Pacific. Yet they were still able to sniff out a few hurricanes, including Hurricane Otis. So, I mean, it's climatology. Maybe this is the year climatology is at its finest. It's working. The season's working as it is intended to do. Now, the sea surface temperature configuration might throw a wrench in the gate, but that's going to change. It looks like that's going to change here within the next month or so. Did it make landfall? No, it did not. We are not expecting landfall until probably early tomorrow morning because the hurricane is moving pretty much, if we play this. So the hurricane is moving pretty much towards Ometepec, something like that. It's going to almost kind of do a little dance in parallel with the coast of Mexico. How do I sign up for Radar Omega? So you're going to have to go to your... Do you have a smartphone? Do you have an iPhone? Like one of the latest versions of the iPhone? So what you're going to need to do is go to the Apple Store and type in Radar Omega. When I signed up, you had to get the subscription through your iPhone, and then you use your email address and password to sign up. Okay. Yeah, the alpha version is $11.99, I believe. Something like that. So if you want to get the most features possible out of Radar Omega at its best, that's the alpha version. That's the highest tier you can get. That's where you could actually look at recon aircraft. So if I actually go down to here, click on tropical outlooks, we could bring up the cone. This is all part of the alpha version, I believe, but the Hurricane Hunters, I think, is not. So you want to pick one of the higher tiers if you can. And then you just go over to the Pacific. And why is it in the Atlantic? Okay, so that's weird. The tab on the Atlantic shows the following. So we can see our recent mission. Okay. That is funny. This is not updating. This is actually not updating. At least the color coat is not working very well. Actually, okay, there's a center. So this was from earlier, and you can see, yeah, so this has not updated recently at all. So yeah. So you could actually view recon data in real time on this when it updates, you know. That's up to their servers. If it doesn't update on their end, it's not going to update here. But yeah, this is a very good radar program where you could actually track hurricanes in real time. Live cameras are built into the software as well. And you could view up to 250 frames of radar data. But again, that depends on the subscription that you have, Nicholas. All right. Is this feature? So if you go over, okay, so if you simply go over to Radar Omega, so let's go to Radar Omega, it will tell you what is included. It should tell you, yeah, because there's different subscriptions. So I have the alpha version. So there's a list down here that says what is included in that subscription. If you get the gamma, I think that's the lowest. Yeah, that's the cheapest version. Either $4 or $5 a month or $50 yearly. And you don't get as much stuff. You really don't. Okay. Believe me, you're going to need a subscription to use Radar Omega, but that depends. Do you want to go for the lowest tier, the medium tier, or the highest tier? That is completely up to you. I have the highest tier, and that's because for you all, I want to use Radar Omega to track hurricanes with you guys. And so therefore, I need all of the model data. I need every single radar frame. I need I could even look at 10-year storm report archives as well, which is really nice. So that's $12 a month. Okay. So this is the latest with Hurricane Erick. It's a 125-mile-an-hour Category 3 hurricane. And you know, someone actually left a really great comment on my YouTube video today saying how I called this to become a high-end Cat 3, a high-end Cat 2, a low-end Cat 3. And guess what? We are actually dealing with a major hurricane. No, I'm not glad this is happening, but it goes to show you that sometimes when I hype up stuff, it's for a good reason. Are there live cameras in Mexico? I'm sure they are. I will have to look that up later on. I did not have time during the setup process. So I will have to look more into that. No more severe weather live streams. I'm not saying there won't be any more severe weather live streams. Not this year, okay? Not this year at least. Next year, with my new setup, we should be able to at least attempt to go live more often than not, okay? Definitely from March all the way through at least the middle of May, we will be doing severe weather stuff. Just like we did before. But yeah, thank you for asking that question. No, I've not been trying to ignore severe weather. I've been fully aware there's been a derecho I've heard there's been multiple. I mean, there have been over 400 wind reports, I think, today. I'm very aware of this. Believe me, just because I don't go live on something does not mean I'm not aware of it. It's just that once I transition into the tropics, I like to stay there. I don't like to go back and forth. As you can see, if we go look back at my content, we did a lot of severe weather, United States weather stuff. Now we started an episode series. So this is basically a series that I'm in right now. This is season 3 of the hurricane season here on the channel. And we're going to continue to cover the tropics. throughout until at least the middle of November. At least until the middle of November, and then we'll get back looking at the United States again, if that makes sense. Do you guys understand that? Sorry if I feel like I've been ignoring you all in the Midwest with severe weather. I do apologize, but this year the upgrades just did not come in time, and it just was too much on just 2 computer monitors just to do all of that. There's a camera in Acapulco. I don't want to share this, though. See, I need to review these cameras first. Oh, this guy is very big on YouTube. I'm not going to share his live stream on mine. See, I need to find live streams that are okay, free for fair use. That's why we have viewers like Titan over here giving us the links to these cameras. This is in Acapulco, so this is way to the north of the hurricane, or to the northwest, I should say. It doesn't look all that bad there right now, so that's the good news. That's the good news. Yeah, Noah, it is. It's undergoing an annual replacement cycle. Puerto Escondido has about 30,000 people, and the surrounding area nearly has 50,000 people. Oh my gosh. Man, that's a lot of people. At least over 100,000. Definitely. Will I live stream up until landfall? Not this one, no. Not this one, and that's not because I don't want to. For one thing, it is very hot in my room right now. It is very hot in my room. If you don't believe me, folks, you probably can see me sweating a little bit. It actually has cooled down some, but like this is the temperature in my room right now. 88 degrees. Yep, 88 degrees. Dew point has come down though, so that's a good thing. I guess our... What the heck? What did that do? Oh, it's telling us it's going to be very windy. Whoa, thank you, Davis. So yeah, it is pretty hot in here. But you know what? Here's the thing though, okay? I can tell you guys are excited. I can tell. Please smile, folks. I can tell you guys are excited for my live streams when it comes to the golf. That's not why I'm excited for the hurricane season. It's just that it's been so dead. I feel like I've been just feeding you all trash on YouTube, you know? But it's all about consistency, you know? If I don't upload very often, then you guys will think like, oh, David hasn't uploaded very much. What's going on? What's going on with David? David hasn't uploaded very much. That might happen though for a little bit. For next week, I'm actually going on vacation to Portland, Oregon. My cousin's actually getting married. So, I'm going to bring the iPad, and let's hope I don't forget the iPad like I did back in the middle of May when I went down to Fresno, because that's what I will be using to do my videos. I'll probably get at least 1 or 2 videos out while I'm on vacation, but vacation is all about, you know, just relaxing. Take it when I can, right? Thank you so much, Elsa. And I will get to see it get dark at like 10:45 at night. It's going to be dark really late. It's going to be like, it's still going to be sunny at this time. Yeah, it's still sunny there. Sun is still up at like until like 9:15 at night. David, can you drive to the golf? Oh, no, wait, hold on. Could it go into the Gulf and redevelop? No, it's not going into the Gulf. No, no, no. It's not going into the Gulf. If it goes into the Gulf, I'll be like, get out of here, Hurricane. You don't belong in the Gulf. Thank you so much, Titan. So I will, when I generate my schedule from ChatGPT, again, go to my posts. That's where you get my latest schedule. Okay, be sure to check that out. Okay, I'm gonna try this for a little bit. It's done quite well here. And ChatGPT automatically generates this every Thursday. So I did not type that. I did type this all up. I copied it from what my phone was saying, and then I put it up on here. So whatever it says is whatever I'm going to do. And I did put in my request onto ChatGPT, so it's hopefully not going to have me upload every day next week when I'm on vacation. Is Weather United covering it for landfall, David? What do you mean by Weather United? Very early major hurricane for the season. Yeah, don't you think? Yeah. Cat 30 this, I mean, it's the middle of June. Literally a month, just over a month after a month of the East Pacific hurricane season. And there have been a lot of people on Twitter saying how hyperactive it has been in the Eastern Pacific, which is not what you want to see under a La Nina-ish cold neutral episodic event happening in the Eastern Pacific. Is there a chance that Erick becomes a Category 4 hurricane? At this point, I don't think so. I think it's peaking its intensity right now. I wouldn't be surprised if it makes a run for maybe 130, but at this point, it won't matter on how intense it is. What's going to matter is it is a major hurricane right now, and it is going to be bringing some extreme impacts, or already is, over Puerto Escondido, and it's going to just cause problems. It really is. But yeah, Category 4 at this time is yes or no, maybe so. Because you got tall mountains. As I did mention during my stream, we have really tall mountains over here along the coast. And so you're bringing that wind offshore. Not only is it being frictionally slowed due to the friction, trees, tall pointing mountains and stuff, that's going to slow down your wind, but also that air sinks and it dries adiabatically, similar to Santa Ana winds, similar to Chinhook winds in Colorado. When the air sinks, it warms and dries adiabatically. And so what you're going to do is you're going to dry out the atmosphere. That dry air is going to be infiltrated into our circulation here. And what it's going to do is it's going to lead to a disruption. So far, it does not look like that is happening just yet. What I'm looking for is very deep, bally, like blobby convection happening. And it looks like it's still in spiral bands right now. So I'm not seeing any indications like that. However, this is very interesting right here. This is a very big, massive, deep convection that has recently exploded here on the southwestern quadrant. Oh, wow, Noah, really? So 2019... Let's see. Okay, hold on. Hurricane Erick Wikipedia should give us. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Yeah. That time, though, it went just south of Hawaii instead. And it was a fish storm. It did not cause any impacts. But this time, But the pressure is 950. That's crazy. What a coincidence. Same pressure and same wind speed, almost similar wind speed. So good call. Good eye, Noah. Yeah, this is, I mean, let's actually go to 2025. And this is currently active. Pressure was lower, though. That's the interesting thing. Pressure was lower by 2 millibars, but the winds are 5 miles an hour lower. So I find that interesting. The pressure is not as low now on this, or is lower on this system, but the winds are not reflecting that. And again, it might have to do a lot to do with the topography coming off those mountains. Yes, I do, Jason. Me and Patrick don't talk very much anymore. I don't know what has happened. I don't. But honestly, me and Easy and the team over here, we're going to tackle this hurricane season to our best. We're going to try to keep you all updated. But yeah, I find it interesting. The two Ericks have similar intensities. Oh, it's fine, Jason. You know, people come and go, and that's just the life of YouTube. But what has been very solidifiable is my channel. I cannot believe I'm almost up to 43,000 subscribers, people. I mean, this is amazing. This is like really good. This is really good. Thank you for subscribing if you haven't already. Because, boy, I mean, when it comes to live streaming the hurricane season, yeah. It's good that it's quiet now. Then I can get a lot more stuff prepared, right? Because, yeah, Barrel last year was something else. Info is what matters. Thank you. I just can't wait to hit 100,000, then I can get that silver play button. That's what I'm looking forward to. My first trophy on the channel. And then I could run around screaming like a little kid saying, hey, everybody, I got my... No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to scream like a little child because I'm not a little child. Maybe I'll have to yell at all of you and be like, thank you so much. You guys are loving. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the support because getting 5 monitors, getting a new desk was not very easy. The desk was like $2,500 Oakwood desk. Yeah, I had to get a new desk because my other desk was actually very wobbly and it was not very sturdy. And I had a little bit of negative fear in my room that my desk was actually going to fall off. So I had to get a new desk. And on top of that, got 5 monitors. Yeah. 5 monitors. Only if I could fit another graphics card in my computer, I would be able to get 4 more monitors. That would make 9 computer monitors, which I don't know if that would fit on this desk. I think it would, though. With the tree setup, maybe it would. But wow, that would be a lot of power out of one outlet. Do you think the Atlantic's first named storm might be a hurricane? It depends when it forms. If that's in August, chances are a little higher because that's when background state is more favorable. Generally for more intense formation, more so than the early part of the season. So it's hard to say. Letter A storm, you know, not always do you get a major hurricane out of the first storm. Barrel, second name storm, that was a major hurricane. Can you turn the camera around and show us your setup? Why not? I'll show you guys my setup one more time. I'm looking into getting a second webcam, and I might hook it up to a tripod and aim it. But this is what it looks like without pulling the webcam cable, I guess. I don't know how good this is going to go, though, because it's connected directly from my computer. But this is my setup. Ooh, this camera's hot. Hot to the touch because it's running. So let me actually, you know what? Let me actually go into here. Let me zoom this out. There we go. So this is my setup. I know my desk is a little bit on the dirty side. It's not that bad, but like it's good enough. These lights up here, by the way, I have an app that controls this, and I could actually change. Oops. I could actually change I can make these colors. By the way, seizure warning. Seizure warning. I can make it red, so my whole room could end up being like a red. And then I can make it yellow, green, turquoise, blue. And like that's a pink, right? And then it goes back to red. Or I could make it the colors more faded, so I could have more of a kind of a, oh wait. What the heck? Why is there only one light working? Okay, hold on. There we go. So we can make these lights more faded. So we could have kind of like a pinkish while having a white, and then I can just keep it white. And I could have effects. So here's a candlelight. Here's an RGB 1, RGB 2, SOS, fire engine, strobe warning, ambulance, strobe warning, and then police. And then I could have lightning. I mean, it's pretty cool. But this is my default. So that's what I actually have. This monitor right here, though, when it comes to live streaming, this is mainly for the live cameras that I have up. So I'll have all live cameras in the background running off of this for like an overnight stream when we have it all running in the background. And then up here, we are going to have like a National Hurricane Center advisory stuff. We're going to have like 3 or 4 different things running off this monitor. And then up here is where I will have a radar program. Okay, so we'll have like radar, like GR2 analysis on this one. We'll have radar Omega on this one. And then over here is where we will have Streamlabs OBS running in the background just to make sure everything is running smoothly. And some of you are probably asking, you're trying to copy other people. No, I'm not. So, and I'm being honest. Oops. Hold on a second. There we go. I just thought of this. Like, I thought, man, I need to get a new table. I think because I had, oops. Hold on. Go. Okay, that's better. Because I've had 3 monitors for like ever. I mean, I have never upgraded my setup in a while. And so it was like, man, I need to upgrade. I do need to upgrade. And so I had some spare money with me. And so I was like, you know what? I think it's time. We bought a new computer back in October. It's time to get this computer some harder work put into it. And so I decided that, you know what? How many monitors can I actually fit in, with this computer? So I decided, and then I looked at all the ports. I'm like, I could fit 5 monitors. That is so freaking cool. So that's why I went a little crazy at buying a new soundboard, a new mic stand, 5 monitors, and just new lighting. I'm only using 2 lights, but I have a 3rd light up there that I won't use for a while. When is the next update for Erick? The next update for Erick is not for a while. We just had one out literally like an hour and 10 minutes ago, so it's not going to be another hour and 50 minutes. I'm not going to wait that long. I do need to take a shower tonight. After working out in the hot sun today, it was like 102 degrees today. It was just blistering hot outside, so I do need to get cleaned up and stuff. And then I need to get to bed early tonight because I have to be up very, very early in the morning at like 6:30 in the morning to do some stuff. Because, again, we're getting ready to go on our trip for next week, so I have to get slowly packed up for that. And I'll be gone for like 7 days, but that doesn't mean I won't be uploading for 7 days. I'll try to sneak peek some content, some uploads, at least 2 or 3 days while I'm on the road. I feel like the later we get our first named storm, the higher the potential there is for a stronger storm, a stronger A named storm. That's yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I did all this upgrading for you guys, you know, because I know you all like after looking at my analytics for all my Hurricane Live stuff, after getting a lot of comments like, David, you saved my life big time with Beryl, with Helene, with Milton, with Debbie. I'm like, man, we're going to have to step it up. We're going to have to step up to the plate a little bit and add some extra monitors, better sound, better microphone here. Yeah. Yeah, this mic was like $600. It's an XLR microphone. 2025 will have the 2025 will have the latest start to the hurricane season compared to other seasons in the last decade. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. That is a big possibility. At this rate, it is possible. But here's the thing, okay? I just feel like some of you are not taking the hurricane season seriously. I really feel like that. Are you all taking this hurricane season seriously? Let me know in the chat, please. Let me know. Because if you're not taking it seriously, then I am very sorry to hear that. I am terribly sorry. Of course you're not, Mike. And that's not a good thing. I mean, look at, see, I like to compare 2019. 2019 was pretty late. I like to compare 2019 to this year because look at June. We had no-name storms. And yeah, actually, you know what? Andrea Barry. Yeah, I think this year the list, this is the same list we're using up, only that we won't have Dorian or Lorenzo because they were both Cat 5 hurricanes. But I mean, I just feel like it's going to be similar to this where we're not going to have anything in June. June is done for. So we went through June with not seeing anything. July, it is still a question mark if we get one named storm. I think we will get at least one if that's in late July or mid to late July. I think we'll see at least one. And then August, like late August, I think is when things are going to start kicking into action, and especially in September. I mean, look how slow the season was. And yet that season gave us 18 named storms, 3 major hurricanes, and 6 typical hurricanes. And look at what NOAA was forecasting initially, 9 to 15 named storms. This year, it's different. It's different. And when we actually look at 2025 here, we have to kind of look at that and be like, okay, yeah, we do got to take this a bit seriously. They're going up to 19 named storms, up to 5 major hurricanes, and up to 10 hurricanes in itself. So they're expecting this season to be more active than 2019. And look how that season ended up being. Look at it, didn't end until early November, even until mid-November. What I'm trying to say here is a backloaded season is probably the new normal. Quiet here, quiet here. Oh my gosh, motorcycle, too loud. Semi-active here, and then just very active here. I think late August all the way through early November is the new window of opportunity in the tropics, I feel like. So my personal opinion is I think 2025 hurricane season will be kind of a replica, but only maybe 1 or 2 more storms. And again, backloaded, all right? Don't get too comfortable that, oh, it's dead right now. This is highly unusual. You know what was very unusual of how active 2020 was in June? Okay, I mean, I thought the hurricane season would never end. It just kept on running and running and running and running, you know? I mean, we do not want 31 named storms in the Atlantic. We do not want 31 named storms. Thank you so much, Mike Paul. I do appreciate that, bud. I really do. I've been your news source for the hurricanes. That's what I like to hear. And again, some of my thumbnails and titles and whatnot might come across a little aggressive, but sometimes we have to use that aggression. We do, because people sleep on a tropical storm and thinking, oh, it's not going to intensify. We can't trust the models. That's kind of a, that's not good. You don't want that. I mean, it only takes one storm, folks. It really does. Look at Beryl. Look at Milton. Both Cat 5 hurricanes. We didn't get 31 named storms, right? We did not see a 2020 season, but also in 2020, we did not see a Cat 5 hurricane. So it's quality over quantity. I am not focused on how many storms we're getting. I'm more focused on, are they going to be long tracked? Are they going to be intense? Are they going to hit land? Or are they going to hit you? That's what I'm really focused on. People like to get wrapped up that, oh, 31 named storms, that's a hyperactive season. Well, we could have 31 named storms and all of them go out to sea. I think a lot of us will be like, oh, this season wasn't active at all because no one got hurt. So I'm not trying to give you guys attention or anything, but I mean, this is real stuff. ACE, excuse me, accumulated cyclone energy is the new way to illustrate how active a hurricane season was. Really, I kind of did not fall for ACE in the early years of my hurricane expertise because I was like, okay, we don't care about accumulated cyclone energy. But forecasters are starting to use that a lot more. Because that is your performer. It's like, how should I word this? What's a good analogy? It's like if you bake a cake really fast, you can make as many birthday cakes as you can in 24 hours. But if you make too many, you might mess up, right? You're going to screw up on the decorating and all of this. Versus if you take your time and just be patient, you might not make as many cakes, but what if you sell 10 cakes, you know, versus if you make 30 cakes and you sell 4 cakes because you went too fast. I'm just, you know. I mean, it only takes one. I just cannot say that enough. One and only. Look at Helene. Look at Milton. Those, I mean, I'm not ever going to forget about Milton. I am never in my entire life going to forget about Milton. Milton was probably the worst hurricane ever that I have ever witnessed. Ever. And I'm not saying that to hype up stuff. No, that was the strongest, most well-defined hurricane on the entire planet on my YouTube channel ever. So yeah, this is a live look at the satellite imagery. I'm sorry, I've been showing the same thing for a while. I did a lot of talking more than actually showing you all, so I'm so sorry about that. But you guys are here to learn too on my channel, right? I'm not going to just give you information that you're not going to understand, you know? Because hurricanes do kill people. They do kill people, and they are notorious of costing many people's lives. And most of that is because people are not prepared for them. You know what I think of a hurricane seasonal forecast as in like, okay, it's a forecast, it's guidance. Based on oceanic temperatures, based on this, based on our El Nino, this is the season that we're going to have. But it doesn't mean we will have a season like that, right? So one last thing here before I get to your guys' questions is look at 2020. This is a wake-up call right here. Wake-up call. Now, we're not going to have a 2020 season because we would already be on our letter D storm already. But look at this season. I mean, NOAA was predicting 13 and 19 named storms. What do you know? 13 and 19 named storms in May, right? Oh, most of the forecasts were not really bullish that season. Look at Colorado State University on the 2nd of April, 16. Then Colorado State University upped their forecast a little bit because of our number of named storms that we were at already. So we were thinking that, oh, this season's actually going to be a very busy one. And then we ended up with 30 named storms. Actually, wait, yeah, 30 named storms, not 31. I thought we had 31, but close enough. 30 named storms. Okay, so a forecast, guidance, seasonal forecasting is guidance in itself. You know, they're not perfect. So we may have 21 named storms this season, or we might just have 14 named storms. We don't know until it is... Finish the sentence with me, folks. Finish. Until it is blank. We don't know how a season is going to perform until it is. Could it turn to the right and make landfall sooner? No, I don't think it's gonna. It might wobble to the right a little bit, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. But yeah, look at that. That model, boy. It's a little itchy crazy. Exactly, Mike. Until it's over. Okay. That's how we look at it. My forecast, I'm calling for 10 to 14 named storms. That's my forecast. That's how I feel what the season's going to do. based on where we're at right now, because I really do not like the sea surface temperature configuration right now in the Atlantic, and it is a mixed signal. It could go two ways, 20 name storms or 10 name storms. So, I mean, if we get a below average season, we do, and that's a good thing, right? I don't think we want another 2020 version or a 2005 version. I think it's nice to have one below average season for once. It's been like ages since we had a below average hurricane season in the Atlantic. But I mean, I am going two ways on this. I'm very, very fuzzed because of the sea surface temperature, because of the pattern out there. I mean, this is not a look that we saw last year. It was different. We are seeing an Atlantic Nina. We have some cooler waters over here. It's giving us a mixed signal right now. And we're going to have to really wait to see what the weakening of the trade winds do out here in the Atlantic to see if sea surface temperatures can recover themselves. If we can get warming down here again, or a more substantial warm up. Because in order to get a busy season, you need very warm sea surface temperatures, anomalously warm, concentrated in a certain area. And this water tastes like metal. Probably because it's been sitting in that bottle for 3 days. What's up, Joseph? What's up, good old Joseph? How's everything? So yeah, if you're new, we're tracking Hurricane Erick. We'll go a little longer, probably until about 10 o'clock tonight, and then I will have to head off. And I'll be back with you again. Well, we're still going to be live here. We'll have another live stream, not another live stream, another tropical weather outlook and discussion at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow, based on my schedule. I'm doing really good. But man, this deep convection right here, whoo! You're spicy over there, deep convection. Look at that. It's like, you know what it looks like? It looks like a big cyst on a hurricane. It's like a big old fat wart that the hurricane has. It's just blowing up. Look at you. Look at that eye. It's just twirling about. I'm thinking we'll see 16 to 20 named storms, 8 to 11 hurricanes, and 3 to 6 major hurricanes, Cat 3 plus. That's a pretty good forecast. Actually, not bad. That's within the reasoning of possibility, Noah. Thank you so much. Yeah. This is not far from making landfall, though. Look at how beautiful you are, Ian. What's up, the Reaper? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I know, right? Remember what I said? Okay, if you guys have watched my first video on this hurricane, how I said, and actually I can go back and look at it. I can literally go back and look at it, and I have to laugh because some people were making like rude comments about it, like Hurricane Erick coming. I said that 2 days ago, and no one thought it would be a hurricane, right? No one thought. Oopsie. Oopsie. I called it. I called the sucker. I didn't say the F word. I called it 2 days ago. 2 days ago, before the thing even, it was a depression, before the thing even became a tropical storm or a hurricane. And look at my cone. Look at that thumbnail. Like literally, I'm close to nailing that forecast right there. Like, what a perfect thumbnail that was. That's why sometimes you have to clickbait even if you don't want to. Because you know what? A thumbnail is one thing. What's actually in the video is another thing. That's why I encourage you all to please watch my whole videos, because that's where you're going to get the information. What is Hurricane Erick's wind speed? 125 miles per hour. It is very close of a Cat 4, but I don't think it's going to become a Cat 4. You're thinking up to 21 named storms, Noah? Yeah, that's a below average season for the East Pacific. That's for sure. So, yeah, sometimes, folks, I mean, you have to worry about the thumbnail, right? That's why you clicked on my video in the first place. But read the title and then actually watch the video. And I have timestamps in the video as well, so please be sure to click on those timestamps. It is currently raining heavily, so you're definitely getting hit with these bands, these outer bands. I mean, I can't get everything 100% exact, but I know I don't want to cuss. I don't cuss on stream, but I would cuss outside of the stream and tell myself this. I know and I'm not saying that just to get more views. I've been doing this since 2017. 8 years in the making. 8 years in the making. And everyone makes mistakes, gotta understand that. Yeah, I am. Oh, also, by the way, folks, since you all are watching this still, I do have my seasonal predictions. I'm going to send the link to you all here. Yes, I put my, oh, wow, this is not even loading. If it loads for you, just let me know when it loads for you. You're going to want to check out this page right here, because this page has my forecast. It's Schlotthauer. That's my last name. So when you go to the website, you're going to see my name on there. And I did not release my July forecast because it's not July yet. That's not going to be out until at least the first or second week of July. Probably after the 4th of July week is when I'll have my numbers out. Once I get more concrete sea surface temperature data, our climate models come in, and we get a better idea with what is actually going to happen. But yeah. Yeah, you can see I'm the least aggressive forecaster out there. And you could just see how many hurricanes named storms. If we go look at our named storms, you can see I am one of the lowest. But look at the UK Met. They're predicting 9 to 23 named storms. So you can check this out. There is a link there. Click on the link. And that updates every day. So anytime that someone has a new forecast out, it gets published there automatically. And so I will have my new seasonal number forecast on that website in the month of July. And right now, based on my June forecast, I am predicting 10 to 14 named storms. So a below average to average season. But sometimes that is not always a good thing, because the reason why is the fact that, again, it's not all about the numbers. And I want you all to type that in the chat. Like, it's not all about the numbers. Okay, it's all about what? Quality. So please type that in the chat. It's not about the numbers. It's kind of like this. Just because I have almost 43,000 subs, I'm not going to get 43 to 100,000 views per video, right? David, are you ever worried about a hurricane crossing over Mexico and gets into the Gulf? Yeah, I am worried if that actually happens, because the Gulf is on fire. And no, it's actually not literally on fire, but it is very warm. It is very warm right now. And if that's not enough, look at it for yourself. That is the Gulf as of yesterday. I showed this in today's video. The Gulf is ready for triple trouble. It's on a ticking time bomb. It is. Yeah, it's bath water, right? And scary enough, it's actually warmer than it was this time last year. So we are only adding more heat, more fuel to the fire, in other words. And then if we go and look at sea surface temperature anomaly, this is what we're looking at. I mean, that is just crazy. That is just crazy. And doesn't seem that warm. It really doesn't. But believe me, that's extra energy. That's extra latent heat in the atmosphere waiting to be released in the form of a hurricane that you do not want to see. And Milton was a great example of that. So with that being said, this is how strong. Wait, did this even? Oh gosh, has this even? This hasn't even uploaded. Wow. Okay. So let's just say right now, and I told Ethan this, okay, I have a unique formula that I use to estimate a storm's potential in the Gulf. I use upper ocean heat content combined with latent heat release potential on top of very warm sea surface temperatures. And I am not lying, okay? And I'm not doing this to get views, to get attention or anything. I told Ethan this the other night, or actually about a week ago, and he was like, oh my gosh. Do you guys want to hear this? Do you guys want to hear what I'm about to tell you about how strong a hurricane max potential is in the Gulf? Let me know in chat, because you want to hear, you're going to want to hear this. I mean, what I'm about to tell you isn't good. If we get a storm under the right environment, it could blow its top. Okay, so after doing some analyzation, if that's even a word, I think that's a word. I make up words all the time. So given the fact that upper ocean heat content, especially in the loop current, okay, so this is different for each area. So like for this area that I've circled in black, see that, folks? Right in here, if you get a hurricane that moves over that loop current with exceptionally, I mean, this is off the charts. The upper ocean heat content in the loop current there is outrageous. It's just like, look at how high that is. Like, look at how high that is. Okay, that little area, if we get a hurricane that moves over that area in the right format, this supports, okay, a 195-mile-an-hour hurricane with a minimum central pressure down to as low as 885 millibars. Okay, and that's definitely a category 5. Again, I'm going to repeat that. Based on my calculations, if we did get a storm in this portion of the Gulf, okay, the amount of heat, the amount of heat energy being stored below the ocean would support the maximum climax, okay, the maximum potential if everything comes together is a 195 mile an hour hurricane with a central pressure down to as low as 880 millibar, 885 millibars. Okay. That you don't, I mean, I don't like saying that. I really don't. And I want you guys to think the same thing, like, wow, the fact that David said that is very concerning. That's in the middle of June. I could only imagine and on how much warmer those Gulf waters are going to get once we go into August and September. It could, random. It could. Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't want a 195 mile an hour hurricane hitting Tampa. Oh, my gosh. I mean, I don't like using the word if in my live streams, but if we got a 195 mile an hour hurricane hitting Tampa Bay, Florida, it would be, like you said, a city killer. It would be the end of Tampa. It would literally be the worst disaster in the United States, probably since the Labor Day hurricane, or if not, since Hurricane Katrina, or even Hurricane Michael, or if not, Hurricane Sandy. But I mean, this is the wake-up call. Those are numbers that I don't make up. Okay. Again, my calculation is based on how much upper ocean heat content there is. Okay. The time of the year in relative to where we're headed, and other other equations that are put into the framework that make that estimate possible. All right. Because when you have lots of upper ocean heat content like this, you got to think of upper ocean heat content as gasoline in the ocean. Say that with me, folks, in the chat. Say, oh, it's gasoline in the ocean. It's octane fuel. It's like, think about that. This is filled with water. If you just heat the top, there's not much heat there. But if you heat this whole bottle up with hot water, there's a lot of heat being stored. So when you get a very intense hurricane, okay, and after all, hurricanes like this are heat drivers. They pull heat out of the oceans. They literally do. It's a vacuum. They literally pull heat out of these oceans. And that's in the form of energy. And what you get is explosive intensification, because heat rises. When heat rises, pressure falls, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing here. So what you're basically seeing is a heat budget exchange. And you know what? In this sense, okay, and good for the bad. Hurricanes are bad. We understand, because they make landfall. But in the sense, as long as they don't hit anyone, they're actually good, because they take heat out of the oceans. If we didn't have hurricanes, I would only imagine on how warm our oceans would actually be, you know, because I mean, it's a heat engine. It literally is. It feeds off oceans. So basically, this is why I do live streams on this, so you guys can learn. The higher, okay, the higher on the scale we go on this chart. So look down here on the legend, the more heat energy you have, not just at the surface, but below the ocean. So in other words, the Gulf has a lot of upper ocean heat content, some of that even rivaling the Northwestern Caribbean. So, I mean, if we get a tropical depression, okay, look at Ian. Look at, Ian was just a little tropical wave entering the Eastern Caribbean. But once it got into this area, we had a hurricane. and then yet it became a Cat 5. That's why we watch these tropical waves. We watch these things because you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it only takes a little disturbance. And look at Milton. Look at Milton. Milton was barely anything. It literally it formed from the north wind that came down here. Okay, and then there was this little eddy of flow, this like little gyre, and yeah, look at how Milton formed. That's why we can't sleep on these things, because when they are in the ocean, I'm not trying to smile here, but I'm trying to get my point across to you all. When these things are in the very warm waters of the Gulf, if that's in the Caribbean, if that's in the southwestern Atlantic, where we have all this upper ocean heat content, we have to really watch these things. We really do. Because one day I could wake up out of bed and be like, oh my gosh, we have a Cat 5. I mean, these things could go haywire very quickly. Under the right conditions, light shear, lots of moisture in the deep layer, and of course, upper ocean heat content. Okay. Imagine a hypercane with 500-mile-an-hour winds. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. That's not going to happen. That's why we don't get hurricanes when sea surface temperatures are below 80 degrees. And typically we don't, right? Because just it's not thermally conducive. You know? Hurricanes love warm bathtub, warm water. Okay, and if they don't have that heat source, they're not going to intensify. So that's why, even so, the Gulf hasn't had anything so far this year. It doesn't matter. We still have to watch the Gulf down the road because these waters are untapped. We don't have any wind mixing things up. And so these waters are only going to get warmer. I mean, we're not in summer yet. Theoretically, the days are getting longer. So the sun is getting higher up in the sky, in theory, until the 20th of June this year. That will be the official day that will be the longest day of the year. The sun is highest up and it's heating these oceans up the quickest. That's why our oceans don't reach the peak in heating until about September. It's only June the 18th. We have all of July and August to go through before we get into September. And if the oceans are this warm now, how warm are they actually going to get? That's going to be the question. Because anything warmer than what we're seeing in the Gulf is just adding more fuel to the fire. It's like a spark. Like, it's just waiting to go off. It really is. It's not going to head into the Gulf. I don't know. Some of you are not all of you, but like some people on X are probably saying this is going to go into the Gulf. No, it's not going into the Gulf. It's not doing anything like we had with Milton, where that thing came from the East Pacific. This is not going to be that situation. And that's a good thing. We do not want a hurricane in the Gulf. Okay, we do not. All right. But yeah, there's no chances of that jelly. The Ant Studios, no, there is no chance that it's going into the Gulf. No chance at all. And if it did, it would more likely fall apart because there's a lot of tall mountains here. So it would just be like a little bit of energy, and that's all about it. So Yeah, do you guys have any questions at all? Before I do go, though, I wanted to make one huge announcement for you all, because that's part of doing YouTube, right? I don't know, Noah. I don't know about that. I have never heard of anything in the East Pacific being a subtropical storm. Well, maybe Hillary. I think that looked like more for us. It was like a subtropical storm. We did get hit with a Hillary a couple of years ago. That was exciting. It rained. It rained pretty good here. Actually, rain in the month of August. We don't get that very often. That was actually the most special. That was the most exciting storm that we actually have ever had here. We get monsoonal stuff. We get high base, dry lightning shows and stuff sometimes. But that was pretty exciting. I remember it was only like 79 degrees at night. It was muggy and it was raining and it was kind of windy. It's like a storm, like a winter storm, but only it was like really warm and muggy. It was just the weirdest thing. I could say I've been through a hurricane. I was in Hurricane Hillary, but we only got maybe like 20 to 25 mile an hour winds. We lost our power. We had some good rainfall, so I can kind of declare myself as I was in the remnants, I guess, of Hurricane Hillary 2 years ago, but it was nothing like Milton or Helene or Debbie at all. So I use a lot of applications, Ivan. I use Radar Omega. I use the University of Miami. I use recon data. I use a lot of applications. I could put a list of like 40 different things I use. I am from California. Are you going to go into any hurricane this year? I'm too far. No, I don't think it's happening. I would need a lot more money for that. I would need to fly. And unfortunately, my uncle is actually moving from Texas to Nevada. So there's no one that I know that is family that lives in Texas. Hey, maybe Maryland. I can go to Maryland where my sister lives. But they get hurricanes, but not as often as like the Deep South does. So we need to start donating. Well, it's up to you guys. I'm not begging for you guys to donate. It's all up to you. It depends on your finances. And the money would not be only used for that too. It would be used for other things. But a little bit of that, a couple of percentage would go to that. Mostly, though, the donations for the upcoming live streams when it comes to tracking hurricanes will actually be going towards Easy. That is going to help me. Yeah, I'm actually going to hire him this year to help me live stream. He is actually going to have full control over my computer. So if I am like at work or I'm doing something and I'm not there tracking a hurricane, he will be there behind the scenes helping me out. So rain or shine, what floats your hind, we'll talk more about that here in a second, in about a minute here. And actually we'll get into that here in a second. You're in Houston? Oh, nice. So you're down here. Yeah, Houston, this whole Gulf Coast is a very populated area. So a lot of you are probably watching this from the Gulf states, which is what we need. You know, we build our audience mainly over there because the East Pacific, quite frankly, is not as entertaining unless a system is actually going to make landfall like the one we're seeing tonight. but all these tend to go out this way. So they're like, okay, whatever. I'm not tracking a hurricane if it's in the middle of the ocean. It's beautiful to look at, but okay, not going to track it. Okay. Yeah, there is a lot of deep convection happening on the southwestern side. Yeah, that is a big area of deep explosive convection. It is too early to tell if Houston's going to get a hurricane this year. And honestly, we're never going to be able to predict where a hurricane's going to hit. Some of you are asking, do you think I'll get a hurricane this year in Houston? Or will I get a hurricane in Miami? Or will I get a hurricane in Virginia Beach or New York? I don't know that answer. I don't know. No one knows for a fact where a hurricane's going to hit until it develops. That is why anywhere, okay, and I'm going to highlight this area, and I'm going to put this in red. Anywhere along the eastern seaboard, okay, in this red area, let me reset that again. Anyone in this red area in the United States, all the way here, I'm including the Bahamas, as well as the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and this whole area, and even all these islands down here. So anyone living in these red areas that I've circled, even the Yucatan Peninsula, you need to be ready for this hurricane season, because I cannot say that 100% chance that Miami's going to get hit with a hurricane. It's not a 100% guarantee. You got to think about a hurricane. A hurricane's a lot smaller than a cold front is. So it's a target. Where is the worst of the eye wall going to hit? We don't know. We don't know that, okay? All we can say is be prepared. You have to be prepared, okay? That's the best thing I can tell you. There's no other way other than that. Okay, so quick announcements here, because we're getting to the top of the hour here. Or the bottom of the hour, I should say, however you want to look at it, is a couple announcements. When it comes to a hurricane, okay, making landfall within 24 hours of a given point, if that's in the Gulf, if that is off the coast of Florida, if it's like a Dorian situation where it's going to do this, or it's going to do this, or it's going to do that, or whatnot, right? I will be streaming 24 hours prior to landfall with a hurricane, okay? So for an example, and I want to just show you all how this is going to work, because Easy was even asking me, like, how are we going to do this, David? How is this going to work? So let me bring up a hypothetical hurricane. So let me draw a track. Okay, this is hypothetical. This is not real. Okay, so don't freak out. I swear if you guys freak out, you're going to freak me out. So here is landfall, roughly about here. Here is 12 hours out or 24 hours. This is just example, okay, on where the storm actually is. So when it's at least 24 hours out, so if the hurricane is here and we think in good confidence it's going to make landfall in about 24 hours from where it is here to where it's going to be moving into, we will start a live stream. It doesn't matter what time of the day. It's going to be a 24 to 30 hour live stream before a hurricane makes landfall. We will have live National Hurricane Center information as it comes through. Excuse me. Hold on. We will have live cameras. We're going to have like 20 to 30 live cameras set up across the landfalling point. So if you're wondering about, will I have a camera located in Miami if the hurricane's going to make landfall in Mobile, Alabama? No, I'm not. So I'm going to have cameras live streaming on this channel based on where the hurricane's going to make landfall, usually within a corridor that looks something like this. Okay. Now, it may not be 30 cameras, but we will try to stuff as many as we can into a live stream, but it just depends on location and accessibility. Some storms, we may only have 10 live cameras, and some hurricanes, we may have 25 or 30 live cameras. So that's how it's going to work, and I wanted to be transparent with you all on this because I talked to Easy Peasy about this on the channel. So 24 to 36 hours, or 24 to 30 hours at least, we will be live streaming because we're going to actually capture this as it's making landfall, and probably will run the stream for 6 hours even after landfall. So like, let's just say the landfall is in, let's see. Let's just say the landfalling point is going to be in Pensacola, Florida. Let's just pretend it's going to be in Pensacola. So we will stream even when it makes on shore until it gets over here somewhere. Okay, so even after landfalling, we will be live here on the channel as it's going on shore and weakening and causing problems. Live radar, live recon data. I mean, yeah, I've been prepping for this, and I wish I could show you all my setup. Maybe in another live stream, maybe this Saturday, I will use my other scene type and I will stream off of that, and I will show you all on how that's going to look, because I want to show you guys this. This is like really cool stuff. Now, of course, I won't tell you how I set it all up because that's more of a little bit of a secret, but I can show you the layout. So that's what the plan is. Now, you guys are probably asking, David, what if you go to work though? Because you work, right? It doesn't matter. We're going to rain or shine. We are going to be live. We are going to be live. Okay, because I am going to be paying Easy Peasy for this. Like he's a coworker. He's working for me, and he's going to be covering behind the scenes. He's going to literally have control over my computer. So if I'm at work or if I'm with someone, like there's an emergency, if I'm away out of town, he could start a stream for me. Actually, wait. Yeah, well, actually he couldn't, because unless I start team, what is it? Team share? Is that, yeah, team viewer. He would have to have access to the code. So there's a little bit of limitation there, but boy, we got it. We are covered. I am ready for this season like no one else actually is. And a lot of you do like my tropical videos. I can tell the engagement is a lot better than on the severe weather side of things. So that is basically my world. Like, there's other YouTubers that just cover severe weather. I am mainly a hurricane genius over here in the tropics. So, this is a Radar Omega, Ivan, that I'm using. Radar Omega. Just type in radaromega.com on your search bar, or look it up on your iPhone via your smartphone, Android operating system. It will work with anything. And then just go over to type in Radar Omega. Okay, folks, I have kept you all here for 2 hours. Anything else you guys need to ask me? Any questions regarding to my setup, to how the streaming is going to work? And speaking of that, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, believe me, I'm making my promise. Okay, we're taking next year's live stream and literally making it better than we have ever had before. And I'm not using that for ego. I'm not doing that just to get more people onto my channel. No, I'm not doing that. I literally mean it. I really do. Actually, you know what? I got it. I can even show you right now. I just realized it was on Streamlabs, OBS Studio. This is my setup. Well, actually, what the heck? Oh, you know why? Because that. sorry, this is supposed to be live camera. So this is basically the setup. So if I run radar Omega, wait, what the heck? Radar Omega, I think, will that work? You're looking at my analytics. Dag nabbit. But this is how it's going to look. Basically, an image here, live cameras on the side. The current date and time is going to be listed there. I know it looks ugly, but don't worry. Rest assured, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Thank you so much, Johnny. You know what? We just got a new update. Or am I going to risk waiting a little longer? No, we did not get... Oh, wait. No, we didn't. We should get a new update here soon, though. Last it is at 125, so I think it's going to be about the same, maybe even 120, maybe 120 miles an hour. Oh, yeah, I know, right? If we look back at my first tropical video that I made, good point, actually. Let's look at that really quickly, then I'm going to actually have to head off here. Where did I actually go? Did I even use sea surface temperatures? Oh, I did. Yeah, look at that. Look how much warmer that actually is compared to right now with what we're seeing. Yeah, from May 12th, that was done. Well, this was delayed by a day. But yeah, that's why I have these videos up. I could archive this. That's what YouTube's good at. I mean, I can look back at last year's tropical videos as well. Like, I can see how last year ended up being. And this was it right. Oh my gosh, I remember being in front of a Promethean board. Man, time has flown by so fast. Man, I did not even realize I actually used a different satellite image. Oh, wait, is this not even... So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It really is. And actually, you know what? Let's actually... I love my thumbnails. Do you guys like my thumbnails? You guys are probably laughing at them. They look... For some reason, it's not loading the rest up. That's YouTube for you, I guess. But yeah, I mean... Oh, here it is. Here's more. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's good old Milton. Look at that little baby storm. Why is it not even playing? Okay. I mean, I can look back at this, and that's why you guys got to watch my videos, you know? If they're old, but they're also like... Oh, I remember Milton. Yeah, here's Milton right here. Look at that. Look at that son of a gun. Look at that little eye right there. We all remember that little. That was, again, the most exciting hurricane to look at from satellite. And look at the eye that we have here. Yeah, this is definitely degrading. This eye is like gone. It's literally gone. What happened to the profile picture? What do you mean profile picture? I don't know what you're referring to on that. Yeah, you guys can look back at this. And Oh, yeah, the profile picture. Yeah, you're probably referring. I changed that because, I mean, my DS is like the more high-end professional. It looks more cleaner than that one. So I decided to up it a lot. Oh, my gosh. I remember. I just got to laugh at my thumbnails. I literally got to laugh at them because they're like so unique to me. They're like, that's David's thumbnail. This is my style that I like doing. This keeps getting bigger. We still need to watch this. Oh my gosh. There's Hurricane Debbie right there. Yeah, Erick's fallen apart. It's done. It's really done. All right. I think that's it. You all, well, anyways, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I can promise you right now, you're missing out on a lot on the tropics. When it comes to the tropics, because I do upload at least every day to every couple of days. That's because I can't be here every single day of the year. That's hard to predict, and that's hard to kind of follow through. But I am here as often as I possibly can to keep you all updated here on the tropics. And you saw the schedule on my channel. I will have a video out tomorrow at 3:30 in the afternoon in Pacific Daylight Time. You can look at this and look at the schedule. I am going to generate one tomorrow, and we'll see what that one shows. But I will be back tomorrow with you all at 3:30. Also, like the stream, like the content, because that does help out with YouTube's recommendation system at putting this out to even a bigger audience. Yeah, Johnny, it's doing an ERC. It's doing an eyewall replacement cycle, that's for sure. So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked, if you haven't shared this, if you haven't left a comment yet, interact with us, interact with my viewers. I do appreciate that. All right, because of course, I'm going to be here on the tropics almost every day through at least the middle of November before we transition back into the winter season here on the YouTube channel. But as always, it is 10:12 p.m. here in Pacific Daylight Time. I have got to hop in the shower here and get to bed because I have an early day to start tomorrow, a really early day. I have to meet up with a couple of people tomorrow when it comes to YouTube stuff. So as always, have a great night. Please be safe. Stay cool because I know it's hot back in the Midwest over the next couple of days with some severe weather. Guys, a lot of you don't like severe weather, but please be safe out there too. And I'll be back with you tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Peace out, folks. Be back tomorrow.